Greetings, everyone. We are here for another collective energy check. Today is Sunday, November 30th. The time is 7:15 Eastern Standard Time. We're going to jump right in and see what Spirit has to say. Today, I pretty much already shuffled all the decks. I'd first like to welcome everyone, and thanks in advance. If you'd like to support the channel, you can support the channel on Cash App at Priority K1. If the video resonates with you, please like and share the video. Ashe. Okay. All right. So we're going to jump right in and see what Spirit has to say. On the first deck, we have SOS. We got somebody that's in distress. Okay, so we got somebody that's in distress. Tell us more, Spirit. We got somebody that's penny pinching. Got somebody that's in distress. Maybe that's what they're distressed about, because they're penny pinching. Somebody who ghosted. So they're all the way. This is the X already in the energy, because she definitely ghosted me. It'll be a year on January 25th. And turned. A party animal. Someone who's into sex and drugs and alcohol. Surface pleasures. Shuffle this deck real quick. Didn't get a chance to shuffle these decks. But we got a runner. Okay? This is definitely narcissistic energy. Okay? We got a runner in the energy. Tell us more, Spirit, about this runner. Please give us clear and concise messages, Spirit. We ask that you pop the card all the way out for the authenticity of the reading. We got somebody that's a penny pincher. Verified, clarified, once again, in the energy. Somebody having financial struggles. We got somebody who is leveling up. Somebody who learned their lesson. And somebody who's acquired wisdom. So that's definitely the collective's energy right there. Okay. Look like time is up for somebody. Okay. Somebody reading up. They're doing research. That's definitely narcissistic energy. But their time is up. They turn. So we got somebody operating in narcissistic energy that's having financial struggles, but they still partying and trying to have a good time. Let's see what else Spirit has to say. Kind of hard to shuffle these cards with these rubbers on the end. Anyway, we got somebody that we definitely in separation with. So somebody we're in separation with? Tell us more, Spirit. Somebody who's financially has financial stability. This got to be collective energy who is leveling up. Someone who learned their lesson already. While somebody else is having financial struggles. There's going to be a change coming. Tell us more, Spirit. Separation. Somebody we're in separation with. What's the chance of that happening? Clarify. That's clarification. This is definitely someone that the collective is in separation from. Loyalty. That's the collective energy. Trust. That's the collective energy. Trust in your relationship is rock solid. No matter what challenges arise, this trust provides a foundation for growth. So we have the dark collective who's that's struggling financially, that's partying, and they're operating in narcissistic energy because they're reading up. That's what narcissists do when you break up with them. They read up, and their time is up. They stop. So we have innovation in the energy. Someone who's using their creative skills, okay, and we have conflict in the energy. We got somebody fighting, okay? Conflict is inevitable, but through honest communication, you can find a way to resolve issues and strengthen your relationship. Okay, so I don't see that happening, okay? Because I don't think that the collective wants to be bothered with this demonic energy, because these people are operating in demonic energy and they just don't want to give that up. So I definitely don't see the collective wanting to reconcile with this narcissist energy. Okay? We're going to try to clarify a little bit with the tarot. Just going to shuffle this deck one time real quick, because I didn't get a chance to shuffle this either. I just shuffled all the situations, that's it. But we're going to shuffle this real quick. Here's a pretty good shuffle. Okay, at the bottom of the deck, we have the Five of Pentacles, okay, going into the third row. Before we go into the third row, we're going to dissect the very first row, but we're going to make a note of this Five of Pentacles. That's somebody that's definitely going into poverty. Okay. So we got someone going into poverty is clarifying this narcissistic energy that's penny pinching. Okay, but let's dissect this, interpret this first row. Spirit says that we got somebody that's in trouble, somebody that's in distress about being in financial struggles. This is a narcissist, because narcissists, that's what they do. They ghost people and then they stalk them after they ghost them. Okay, and this is somebody who likes to party. They missed their calling. They missed their chance on being able to level up, because the collective trusted them to be in a relationship. Okay, but their time is up to reconcile. So Spirit is saying trust that, that you're going to have a rock solid relationship. This is somebody that the collective is in separation with. The collective energy is definitely being creative, and while the dark collective is in conflict. They are definitely in poverty, with the Five of Pentacles being the first card on the first card on the bottom of the deck, on the first card in the second row. So they definitely are struggling financially. Tell us more, Spirit. I'm only going to take one. We got 3 cards fill on the board, but I'm only going to take one. But they're in despair, but they can't sleep at night. Okay, they operating in some young sexual energy. Okay, and whatever is getting ready to happen, they are about to be exposed with the sun being out there. Which card you want me to take, Spirit? Okay, Spirit saying take this card, where they're losing sleep at night. They can't sleep at night because of all the mental anxieties that they have, and that's what those swords represent. Those swords represent mental anxiety. Okay, at the bottom of the deck, we have lovers. So we got somebody that these lovers are the ones that are in conflict. Then we have the world card. Okay, basically they wanted wish fulfillment. Okay, these lovers wanted their anxiety about this wish fulfillment. That they're not gonna get. they definitely not gonna get wish fulfillment. Definitely. The world card upright. Completion, achievement, fulfillment, a sense of belonging, wholeness, harmony. Okay, so that's what they wanted. Okay, but they're not going to get that, because why would they be having anxieties? Okay, maybe that's what the collective is going to receive. Completion of what these karmics wanted to try to do, and coming up against the collective, causing conflict. But their time is up. What else, Spirit? What else, Spirit? Thank you. Got the Page of Swords out here. Somebody got something to say. Somebody got something to say. Yeah. Somebody got something to say. Okay, with the Page of Swords in the upright, we got somebody who's curious, witty, chatty, communicative. Somebody got something to say. Inspired, vigilant, alert, mental agility. Being that fell up under the collective's energy with somebody who's leveling up, maybe the collective got something to say. But at the bottom of the deck, we have the Nine of Cups. Okay, we on the split, so let's split this. We have the Nine of Cups, and we have the Eight of Swords. Let's see what the meaning of that is real quick. This is somebody that possibly may be in jail. Somebody who is possibly trying to receive a lot of love. So let's type in 9 of Cups first. So the 9 of Cups is in the upright. Someone who's looking for a wish to come true. Contentment, satisfaction, success, achievement, recognition, pleasure. Okay, so being that's on the cut on the collective's energy with the Page of Swords, with the collective having something to say, the collective is looking for satisfaction, success, or achievement. Or the karmics are in anxiety because they wanted satisfaction, success, or achievement. And we have the 8 of Swords. Eight of Swords, upright. Somebody who feels trapped, restricted, victimized, paralyzed, helpless, powerless, imprisonment. So we have the karmic energy where they feel paralyzed, they feel restricted, victimized. Yeah. They're being punished. These karmics are being punished for coming up against the collective in narcissistic energy, missing their chance to level up by using their gifts for evil instead of good. Part of their punishment is financial punishment or financial hardships. Part of their punishment is to be in mental anguish. Tell us more, Spirit. We got the Devil card popping out. Somebody who's addicted. Somebody who's aggressive. I'm going to turn this card around. But that's the Devil card. So somebody who's addictive and aggressive. Somebody who wants to walk away from a relationship. With the 8 of Cups. We have the Queen of Cups in the energy. Who could be a nurturing mother. Or a nurturing father. A nurturing parent. Somebody who's stable, intuitive. That's collective energy. Wow. Nine of Cups. I'm just looking at this for a second because this 9 of Cups came up under the collective leveling up. And the collective having something they wanted to communicate with all the blue, the air, and the sword. The collective is a little defensive with whatever they want to communicate. At the same time, the collective, by this being in the middle of the devil card and this card where somebody can't sleep at night because they're having mental anxiety, okay, and them ghosting the collective while they were partying, and now they're stalking the collective, the communication coming from the collective could be that the collective is looking for justice from this devil energy. Yeah. So we got the collective looking for some justice here. We're going to pull some situations, see what else Spirit have to say. Altar. So somebody could be practicing spell work. Okay. Altar is the first card of the bottom of the deck, of the first card in the third row. Excuse me for coughing. I haven't been feeling very well lately, y'all, so bear with me. Let's interpret this second row. Okay, we got the Five of Pentacles, which is at the bottom of the deck on the first card in the second row, which is clarifying the first card in the first row with somebody being in distress, okay, operating in narcissistic energy. That's definitely in poverty. They have an anxiety about this being in poverty because they wanted wish fulfillment. They wanted to be successful. They wanted, and these are lovers. They lovers. So it's a couple that's in anxiety about the collective possibly speaking out about this karmic operating in narcissistic energy. Narcissistic keywords are ghosting, they runners, and they stalking the collective, okay? But their time is up, okay? They operating in devil energy, and they're addicted to drugs and alcohol. They're addicted to stalking the collective. They're being aggressive about it. As a result, the collective is in separation from them while we're being creative, and they're having conflict with each other. They definitely want the Nine of Cups, okay? But they're not going to have the Nine of Cups because the Eight of Swords card being on the cut of the collective having something to say. They are possibly in prison right now, currently, with the Eight of Swords being on the cut, but they want what the collective has, which is satisfaction. And the collective is operating as a well-rounded person, and it's possible that the collective could be a parent. I know I'm a single parent. I'm a single dad. Maybe that's the reason why I'm showing, my energy is showing up as the Queen of Cups, because I am a single father. I've had custody of my daughter ever since she was born. I did have some legal custody issues with the mom, but unfortunately she passed away from COVID, and now I'm a single father. So let's see what else Spirit has to say. What else, Spirit? Craftsmanship. Again, somebody, the collective energy, building something solid. Building something genuine. Something quality. Thank you, Spirit. We got a millennial in the energy, a selfish millennial like that. So a millennial would be Somebody who worked diligent. Somebody who worked diligent about whatever they wanted to accomplish. Let's see what age a millennial would be. What age group is a millennial? Okay, a millennial would be somebody between the age group of 29 and 44. So we have some lovers possibly, because we have lovers in the energy, the lovers, okay, who wanted this wish fulfillment. Now they're in poverty. They possibly, at least maybe one of them, are between the age of 29 and 44. But they selfish. And they doing spell work. The altar card being out here. That's how you know they're doing spell work. And they just diligent about doing this spell work. That's the reason why they're in mental anguish. That's the reason why they're in poverty, penny pinching. Maybe that's why they attack the collective, because they lack innovation. Maybe that's what they're in conflict about. Okay? That's the reason why they're in separation from the collective. Because they're operating in double energy. That's what they're imprisoned by. They're imprisoned by the devil. Mental illness at the bottom of the deck on the second card. In the third row. So these lovers are suffering from mental illness because they work diligently attacking the collective, operating in narcissistic devil energy. For this ultimate wish fulfillment. What else, Spirit? What's that say? Be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slower to anger. So whatever the collective has to say, Spirit is telling the collective, be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to anger. Child support in the energy. Maybe these lovers are having some legal issues with child support, fear of change. They didn't want to change because they didn't trust the process, okay? Spirit is saying that they didn't trust the process. Spirit saying drink more water. Okay, we got one pop out. Don't believe the hype. Spirit being funny. Because they operating in this narcissistic energy, partying and stuff, and trying to recruit people for these sex cult covens and doing sex rituals and stuff in order to come against the collective. They work diligently about. Spirit saying don't believe the hype. Spirit saying drink more water. And they ultimately obviously feel like they have unfinished business. Drink more water doesn't necessarily have to mean that somebody actually needs to drink more water. It could be Spirit saying that maybe you need to get more grounded. Maybe you need to meditate more. Maybe you need to go outside and walk barefooted. Maybe hug a tree or something like that. But Spirit is saying get more grounded. Maybe somebody actually really does need to actually drink more water. They worked overtime at coming against the collective. They worked overtime and coming against the collective in narcissistic devil energy. They didn't trust the process. They missed their chance to level up. What else, Spirit? They wanted the 9 of Cups. But as a result, they feel imprisoned. Spirit saying, do it yourself. Defamation of character is in the energy again. That was in the last reading. They wanted to be famous. They was doing this shit for clout. Okay. Let's interpret this third row. And then we'll clarify a little bit with the Kipper. Then I'll go back and summarize the entire reading. Okay, so in the third row, we got somebody who's practicing spell work, okay? They are selfish, okay? Operating in devil energy, okay? And they millennials, which means they between the age of 29 and 44, okay? Because a millennial is somebody between the age of 29 and 44 years of age, or at least one of them, because we know that there's lovers in the energy, okay, with it coming out on the split of the anxiety card. So these lovers, they wanted the wish fulfillment, they wanted the world, but they are in anxiety because they came up against the collective and they missed their chance to level up because they didn't trust the process. Now they are committed and chained to the devil, operating in devil energy, which is making them addicted to drugs, operating in aggressive energy, and working overtime to come against the collective. They obviously are suffering. This could be because anytime that you can't get a good night's sleep because of something that or someone knowing that someone knows the truth and that they are going to be speaking out could put you in a mental anxiety. The fact that they feel like that they have unfinished business could make them feel like they're not in their right frame of mind. Possibly because they are not grounded, because Spirit's saying drink more water. Maybe the karmics need to drink more water, or Spirit could be saying because they're not grounded and they didn't trust the process, they missed their chance to level up. Because they worked overtime with trying to chase clout because they wanted to be famous. So they wanted to defamation of character. They wanted to speak bad against the collective. But Spirit's saying don't believe the hype. Spirit's saying do it yourself. So Spirit's saying rather than try to find out what the truth is from the internet, to discover it yourself. Either go within. Maybe that's why Spirit's saying be more grounded. Maybe meditate more. So Spirit can reveal to you what the truth is. Let's see what the Kipper has to say. We can try to see what it is. I already know that the house and the gift is probably going to pop out. I already probably know that the mature male and the mature woman, or the main male and the main female is going to pop out. But at the bottom of the deck, Spirit did say that they were going to prison. Okay? With the 8 of Swords card on collective speaking out, collective got something to speak out, collective got something to speak out on that could possibly send him to prison. They wanted satisfaction. They wanted to experience the 9 of Cups. Now they're going to jail. Tell us more, Spirit, about this first row. These karmics, that's anxiety about working hard, coming up against the collective. wanting to steal the collective's innovative energy. They feel like they have unfinished business. They were diligent about chasing clout. Spirit saying, don't believe the hype. Give us more information about this first row, Spirit. A pathway. They chose the wrong pathway because they chose not to ascend. Maybe if they had been diligent about, they wanted to be a privileged lady. Maybe if they had been diligent about seeking the right path, maybe they could have leveled up if they had trusted the process. So this privileged lady is the one that's having anxiety, or this one of these lovers who is a privileged lady is in anxiety about something that she worked diligently about. Now she's going to prison. They both probably going to prison. They both probably experiencing financial hardships. They both are narcissistic people who are runners, who wanted to steal the collective's innovative energy and experience satisfaction of the Nine of Cups. Now, as a result, they're in mental anguish, or they feel like they're going to prison for coming up against an intuitive, grounded person who's a loving and nurturing parent. Selfish is just operating in devil energy. They were diligent about being selfish and operating in devil energy. One of these people was between the age of 29 and 44. Suffering from mental illness. They feel like they have unfinished business because they're not grounded. They worked overtime in chasing clout and trying to defame the character of the collective. Now we have an official person in the energy. And a main female. I knew that was going to come out. Maybe this official person is somebody from the judicial system or a police officer. We do know that from previous readings that we have a judge that's being blackmailed and we have a police officer that's being blackmailed. So maybe this official person also is experiencing financial hardships and also mental anguish and can't sleep at night because they were diligent against coming against the collective, trying to defame the collective's character. Tell us more, Spirit. What's the second row? False person. False people. Maybe they were operating in spiritual energy or Christian energy during the day, but demonic energy during the night. Maybe they was having fake smiles. Yep, this is about a house. This has been consistently in the energy. This is about a house. There's going to be a message about this coming in. They're in despair because they're going into poverty and they have mental anxiety about this. It's going to be a message about all this message coming in, about this house, about these karmics, about this official. Tell us more, Spirit. They worked hard. They're diligent. They worked hard in operating in devil energy. It's a message coming in about these karmics. Coffin card wanted to pop out, which means it's going to be a permanent ending to what they was doing and trying to come against the collective Or somebody could be possibly leaving here for real. What's this third row, Spirit? They worked hard. They were diligent about coming against the collective. They in their thoughts now. They having anxiety and they nervous. They can't sleep at night. They're being haunted, probably, for what they worked hard for. Occupation. They worked hard. It's going to be it's a message of concern about these lovers and this mature lady, this mature woman. So we're going to try to interpret this fourth row. Then we're going to go back and we're going to summarize the whole message. Okay. So in the fourth row, we have imprisonment, okay? These people probably are imprisoned in the spiritual, in the 5D already, okay? Because they can't sleep at night. They having financial hardships. They didn't trust the process to sin. They worked diligently to try to come against the collective. This main female who did all this, who worked hard diligently because she wanted to be famous, okay? So her and her lover worked together to try to make the collective go crazy or feel like they were crazy in order for the collective to self-sabotage, okay? They did all this because they are narcissistic people, okay? And they not grounded and they didn't trust the process to ascend. Spirit saying, don't believe the hype. They did all this to try to steal a house that they worked hard for. Spirit saying, find out the truth for yourself, because they in despair, and there's going to be a message coming in about this mature woman who there's a message of concern about. It could be because she caused the whole community of people to be sick by practicing these sex rituals with this sex cult coven, the Masons and the Eastern Stars, this community and this family, this incestuous family. So let's go back, interpret the whole message. The message started out with Spirit letting us know that SOS is somebody that's in despair, somebody that's in trouble, somebody that need help, okay? Because they're facing financial hardships, because they didn't trust the process to level up or ascend. They operating in, these lovers are operating in narcissistic energy, partying all the time, operating in devil energy. Because they're addicted to drugs, alcohol. They're aggressive probably with each other. This is the reason why they're in separation from the collective. They possibly could be in separation from each other, being that they didn't trust the process and they wanted to steal the collective's innovative energy. So now they're in conflict with each other. Or they're in conflict with this community, they're in conflict with the family, they're in conflict with this church sex cult coven, they're in conflict with the Eastern Stars, they're in conflict with the Freemasons, and also probably the Illuminati too, because it's been revealed that the Illuminati is also in the collective's energy. The Five of Pentacles on the first card in the first row, on the bottom of the deck, basically clarified that they having financial hardship because the Five of Pentacles is poverty card. They wanted wish fulfillment, these lovers did, okay? They're having anxieties because the collective has something that they want to speak out on. But the truth, the collective is defensive against these lovers who are operating in devil energy. They wanted to experience the Nine of Cups, but they actually are imprisoned in the 5D, and they are going to be imprisoned in the 3D, being that imprisonment was the first card, the last card on the bottom of the deck on the privileged lady that worked hard to try to be famous, which means that she was a clout chaser. Her and her lover in these cults tried to defame the character of the collective. But Spirit saying, don't believe the hype. Spirit saying, don't believe the hype. Confirmation. Confirmation. Something fell inside of my air purifier that's jumping around. Anyway, Spirit saying, don't believe the hype and do it yourself. Okay? Definitely, we have these lovers that are having anxieties. Again, being selfish. They wanted everything for themselves, and selfishness is devil energy. They practicing hoodoo, voodoo, black magic, whatever you want to call it. And they did this diligently, okay? And there's a millennial in the energy, which means that there's somebody in the energy, in the collective energy, male or female, that's between the age of 29 and 44 years old. Irregardless, it's someone who's suffered from mental illness. They feel like they have unfinished business with the collective, maybe because the collective is not giving up, maybe because the collective is still alive, because they wanted to unalive the collective, or the goal was to defame the character of the collective, to make the collective appear to be crazy to everyone and to himself. So the goal was to get the collective to unalive themselves so they could avoid imprisonment or avoid going through the judicial system in order to get this house, a gift that was promised to the collective, an insurance policy, and an inheritance. They worked overtime, and they were diligent about working overtime, operating in devil energy for fame, clout. This one of these lovers, this main female, this mature woman who is the main female, okay, she's the one that it's a message of concern about. She's the one that's in despair, probably the most, because she tried to steal this house from the collective. Spirit saying, don't believe the hype, okay, because this main female and this mature woman wanted to be a privileged lady for fame. Spirit saying, don't believe the hype. Spirit said, find out what the truth is yourself. The message of concern about this mature lady who wanted to be a privileged lady and this main female, it could be because, like I said, she was recruiting people on the internet, catfishing people on the World Wide Web, and using social media to try to recruit these people for these cults and covens in order to practice anal sex rituals, in order to come against the collective, to try to steal the house, a gift, an insurance policy, and an inheritance. This is something that they worked hard for. So this is the reason why they in anxiety, because they missed their calling and they didn't trust the process to ascend. Time is up for them now. So all they have is to operate in devil energy now, because they bound to the devil. They addicted to drugs. They addicted to alcohol. They can't sleep at night. They operating aggressively with each other. They in conflict with each other. These cults and these covens and these groups. As a result, they going to jail. That's all for now. Until the next time we meet and greet. Ashe.